Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Susie Say That. Today's topic is the conversation about our entire life has already been had. Think about that for a moment. The conversation about our entire life, the past, the present, the future, has already been had. There's been a conversation about us already before we ever came into this realm, before we ever came here, before our parents ever had us, got our father, got our mother pregnant. It was a conversation that I already had, that you were going to be here, that you were going to come. There was a set time, there was a set place, there's going to be an ending because we're all going to have to exit here. So there's going to be a time where we'll have to expire from here and go into eternity to live forever, because there's already been a conversation. I like that scripture where God says, let us make man in our own image. I mean, if he's saying let us make man in our own image, I believe he was saying that I've already had a conversation about what I was going to make. So then I asked something or someone, and out the door with who cares about the us when he says us. We get so caught up in the jargon of words that we forget the point is he's invited someone to come along with him to make us, whether that be another God that he created, whether that be the Trinity, Father, Son, or Holy Spirit, whatever. Out the door with it. It doesn't matter, because what matters is he said, let us make man in our own image. So therefore, if he making man in our own image, that tells us that there was something else that had to have a perfect state as God is perfect. So there was something else that was perfect just as he is. And so he could have made something out of himself that was perfect. Okay? That's a simple form for me to let you just get a gist of what this is. When it comes down to your whole life, my whole life has already been accounted for. The conversation about us has already been had. What we were going to do, how we were going to do it, when we were going to do it, how we were going to get attracted to this world and forget about the image of God, how we're going to just get swallowed up here and we're going to forget about we have an image, the image of God. He created us. He made us out of his own image. What is the image? The image is he gave us power. The image is he gave us righteousness. The image is he gave us love, forgiveness, peace. That is his image. He gave us himself, a part of himself. So if he gave us a part of himself, surely he knew the beginning, the end of everything that was going to become of us. And then he went on to tell us when he said, I knew you before the foundation of the world. I knew you. I knitted you perfectly in your mother's womb. I always knew you. So if you always knew someone, then you knew exactly what they were going to do, because you said, let me create them in the image of us. So God already knows everything. We need to quit acting like, God don't know what you're thinking. God don't know what you're going to do next. He knows everything because he is the sovereignty creator of everything. He knew exactly what you were going to do, when you were going to do it, how you're going to do it. And it's just a simple thing that he's asking us when we get attracted to this image of this world, this fallen, hopeless, broken world. We get attracted to it. And he's saying, don't forget about the image. Don't forget about the image that you have. You don't have to be attracted to this world. I put you in this world for a reason and a season. You're not going to tarry and be there long. I put you there for my purpose, for my reason. And then I love the fact of when he said, let us make man in our own image. That's so big, because he's saying, let us make something that can image us, that can be like us. So if he had, like I said, if he had the conversation, he already knew what you were going to do, when you were going to do it. It's really simple when you think about God's image. And then he said, well, they done fell in love with the image of this world instead of the image that's within themselves. So let me now get Jesus, a body, to come down, a body, and then let me have it come into the world so that I can save my own image. We get so caught up in ourselves and we forget about it's all about him. It's all about the sovereignty, I am that I am, saving his own image. He don't need us. He created us. He don't need us. He wants to save his own image. So how does he save his image? And then he says, do something simple. Just believe that I am the image. I created the image, you are, and all I want you all to do is believe that I came into this world to save the image. Because that's what I came to do, to save the part of myself that has got lost in the image of this world. Because he knows the beginning, the end, and everything else. But you know, we come here, even myself, and I got lost in the world's image before. We all will, before we recognize that I need to accept his image, accept his power within me, accept his righteous living within me, accept his peace within me, accept his love, his forgiveness, accept it. And then he says the simple thing, just believe that I love you so much that I sent my son to save you. A part of myself, just as you are a part of me. I sent my superpower so that you can remember my image that's in you. So that you can remember my image in you that saved you, that wants to spend eternity with you. Because this is not where it's at. This is just not going to be the end. This is a temporary place, but the image of God is forever. It's forever. So when we leave this place, do you want to leave knowing, without a shadow of doubt, that you are the image of your God, the one that created you? He created you to come here on a temporary assignment. He knew that you were going to image the world, but he knew also he would send a part of himself so his image could return to him. God would not be a loss of anything. The great sovereignty I am, he would not be a loss of anything. And he showed us that when he sent his only son, Jesus. You call him all kinds of things, like I said. You can call him whatever you want to call him. But there was a power in Jesus that came into this world. There was, to save his own God's image, which is us. We're the image. We're more than these flimsy bodies and all these things that we have. We're more than what we see, what we take on. This world that we live in is so small according to how big we were before we came here, and how big we are with the power of God's image in us right now. We have that image, so we can either reflect it for what's right, or we can continue to take on the image of this world. We have a choice. I love that part too, that in God's image, he gave us freedom, because that's what he is. He's freedom. So if you're going to create something in your image, you're going to give it your attributes. And one of God's attributes is that he's free. So he gave us that part of himself, that freedom within himself of his image, or the image we can choose from the world. We can choose. Isn't that miraculous and beautiful that we can choose any image we want whenever we want? We can choose the image of the world if we want, or we can choose the image of God, because the image of God, the power of God, is inside of us. Just like the image of this world is outside of us, we can choose it to bring inside of us. That's the beautiful thing about God letting us have his image. He gave us that freedom, that choice, a part of himself to choose. Do I want to image the world? Do I want to image my creator? That's the beauty of having the image of God, when he said, let us make man in our own image. He gave us the image of himself. We can choose it, reject it. I've rejected it, lived my own way, however I want to live it. Then came back and said, I don't want that. I can just accept the belief that he asked me to accept, to believe that there's a power from his image that came into the world, died for me, ascended for me, and is there right now. Okay? So just remember, the conversation about your entire life has already been had. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't continue to let the image of this world condemn you. Condemn you so much that you forget about the image of that's inside of you, the image of life, the image that sets you free, the image that gives you power, the image that lets you be who you need to be in the world for God. Instead of letting that image of the world tell you you're no good, you're nothing, you done messed up too many times. Don't believe that. I know it's easy said than done, but I've been there, so I can speak on it. I can tell you how that feels, or what that makes you feel like, or how it makes you feel down in the pit. But it's the image of the world. The image of the world are all those things. Condemning, lies, drama, chaos everywhere you go. You can't do this, you can't do that right. The inadequacies, all that is the image of the world. Because God's image, the direct image of His, I can do all things through Christ, through the image of God that's in me. I can do all things. Greater is He that is in me than the image that is in the world. I am loved. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am kind. Because this is what my image is. My image says that when I see myself, I see a power that's greater than myself. The image of God that treats me well, that honors me, that respects me, because I have the image of Him that I portray to the world. Now that other image of the world, it tells you you ain't nothing. It disrespects you. It lets people disrespect you. I know. Been there and done that. I know, because I used to have the image of the world on me instead of the image of God, till I found out there's a superpower that I have. The image of God knows everything I've ever did wrong, knows everything that I've done good, knows the ins, the outs of my entire life, and He's okay with it. He understands it. He loves me so much, the image, and I can reflect His image because I understand how He created me, why He created me, and my reasons for being. To have fellowship and love with the image of God that's in me. Okay? Be easy on yourself. Till the next time.